Since the dawn of philosophy, the pursuit of wisdom has always been deeply intertwined with understanding who we are. When Aristotle stated that knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, he didn't just express a profound idea, he established a foundation that still echoes today. Knowing yourself goes far beyond knowing your name, age, or profession. It means diving deep into the ocean of emotions, values, beliefs, and experiences that shape every choice, every reaction, and every dream. It's about understanding why we feel fear in certain situations and courage in others. It's about discovering what truly motivates us, those hidden forces that push us forward even when everything seems against us. And when we begin this process of self-discovery, a universe opens up, a universe that reveals who we really are behind the social masks we wear every day. We live in a society that constantly pushes us away from ourselves. We are bombarded with standards, expectations, and distractions that distance us from our true selves. And in this relentless noise, we forget to listen to ourselves. We forget that within us lie answers that no guru, no book, and no influencer can offer. Self-knowledge is like turning on a flashlight in a dark room. As the light spreads, we begin to see things that were always there but had remained hidden. It's through this process that we start to identify our limits, passions, wounds, and strengths. With that, we stop being puppets of circumstance and become conscious protagonists of our own story. But why is it so hard to look inward? Because it takes courage. Facing our own shadows, admitting our mistakes, accepting past traumas, and recognizing behavior patterns that often sabotage our relationships and goals is a brave act. Many people avoid this inner dive because it hurts. Yes, self-knowledge can be painful. It unmasks illusions, challenges comfort zones, and demands change. Yet, within that pain lies true freedom. The freedom from self-deception, from repeating the same cycles, from living on autopilot. The freedom to choose consciously, to live with purpose, to walk with integrity. As we get to know ourselves better, we begin to make decisions more aligned with our values and life goals. This brings more coherence between what we think, feel, and do. This coherence generates inner peace, as we stop living to please others or to meet external expectations. We begin to live for ourselves, with authenticity. That authenticity, in turn, inspires others. After all, someone who is true to themselves radiates a magnetic energy. And that's exactly why self-knowledge is revolutionary. It transforms not only the individual, but everything around them. It improves relationships, strengthens professional decisions, and even positively influences mental and physical health. One crucial point to highlight is that self-knowledge is not a destination, but a continuous journey. It's not something we achieve once and for all like a trophy. It's a process that requires constant attention, belief revision, active listening, and a willingness to change. At every stage of life, new versions of ourselves emerge. Dreams change, values evolve, fears transform. That's why knowing yourself is an ongoing act of observation and curiosity. The more we understand ourselves, the more we expand our capacity for empathy, because we understand that others are also fighting their own internal battles. This makes us more compassionate, more patient, and more human. In a world that's increasingly connected, we paradoxically find ourselves more disconnected from within. We spend hours on social media watching other people's lives and comparing ourselves, but we rarely pause to reflect on our own journey. Who are we without filters? Who are we without the likes? Who are we in the silence? These are fundamental questions we often avoid, but they are the only ones capable of leading us to true wisdom. And wisdom, unlike knowledge, is not just about collecting information. It's about knowing how to apply it wisely in real life. It means living with purpose, with clarity, and with truth. And all of that begins with a simple, profound step: looking inward. It's also important to remember that knowing yourself means recognizing your strengths. Many times we get used to focusing on our flaws, mistakes, and failures, but self-knowledge also shines a light on our virtues, our talents, and our strengths. It reminds us of what we're capable of. It connects us with what makes us unique. And when we're aware of these qualities, our self-confidence grows stronger. We begin to act with more determination, face challenges with more courage, and handle failures with greater maturity. because we understand that making mistakes is part of the journey, but giving up on ourselves is not an option. And in doing so, we become more resilient, more complete, and more genuine. Aristotle's quote carries a truth that has stood the test of time because it touches an essential dimension of being human. In times when speed rules, when everything feels urgent, and when superficiality dominates, pausing to truly know oneself is an act of rebellion. It's like swimming against the current. But it is precisely this dive that allows us to reach a life of greater meaning. Because a life lived without self-knowledge is a life without direction, and a life without direction rarely finds fulfillment. Instead, it leads to frustration, dissatisfaction, and existential emptiness. That is why self-knowledge isn't perhaps a luxury or a distant philosophy. It is an urgent necessity, as vital as breathing. In short, knowing yourself is an invitation to live more consciously, more deeply, and more truthfully. It's a call to let go of masks, to face the shadows, and to embrace the light within each of us. It's the starting point for any true transformation, because you can't change the world without first changing yourself, and you can't change yourself without first understanding who you are. That's why when Aristotle said this is the beginning of all wisdom, he gave us a key that opens the door to a more whole, more balanced, and wiser life. And that key is within reach of anyone who's brave enough to look inward, to listen to their own heart, and to walk the path of self-knowledge with honesty and presence.